Alright guys, I'm very excited about making this next video, which I hope to be a series of videos that I'll be doing in the future where I review artist editions. But I didn't have an idea of how to approach doing that until the last video, which some of you guys saw, where I got this mat. Instead of opening up a red carpet, we have a blue carpet for some of these. So I'm going to be using that. And the first one I'm going to be reviewing is this one. The Kelley Jones Deadman Artist Edition right over here. It's my first time opening it. You know, it's still sealed. I haven't opened it yet. So I'm going to be seeing this for the first time along with all you guys. So a little bit about me first. My name is Walden Wong. I'm a comic book artist from Marvel and DC. You can check out my website. My website is waldenwongart.com. On my website, there's a lot of different things that you can look at. Pictures, news, gallery, and things like that. And if you enjoy these videos, please think about supporting me over on Patreon. I also have a mentorship over on Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/waldenwongart, and over there there's a lot of different tiers that you can also show support as well as do mentorship. So I'm going to take this red carpet, not quite a red carpet, and I'm going to roll it out and we're going to do the review. Alright, here we go. Blue carpet treatment, and that's so cool. And then here is the artist edition. So a little bit before I talk about this, when I first ordered this, it did come with a box that you can put it in. The original, it's not really the shipping boxes. I think it's the box that you just hold this in. So it just holds it nice. So it was shipped to me, and then it was shipped in another box. So here it is. It's heavy. It's about a good few pounds. And I'm going to open this up and let's take a look at how the inside looks. I'm going to look at every page right over here. Open this. Let me get a little pocket knife to open this up. Actually, let me get a pencil. I don't want to cut it. I want to cut it. So let me grab a pencil. I'm just going to poke it through. There we go. Okay. I'm going to open this up. Yeah, so this is going to be my first time. So Kelley Jones is one of the great artists of my time. I remember meeting Kelley Jones at San Diego. Actually, I didn't really meet him. I saw him. I was too bashful to say hello. I was at a San Diego Comic-Con. I went to a hotel, not a hotel, bar, and then he was sitting there with someone else, one of the editors at DC Comics at the time, and he was right over at the next table. And I saw him and I said, "Oh, look, everyone, that's Kelley Jones. He's just sitting right next to us, and this is his work. This is a Deadman right here. This is made by Graphitti Designs." So I'm going to open up the book. Wow, look at that, Deadman. This is so cool. This is very cool. Okay, I liked how this book just opens up, not like some of the other hardcovers where you could kind of tell that it's hard to open. So it has all these original DC logos over here. Look at about the size of this. This is about the size of my arm over here. So these artist editions, this one's called the gallery edition. IDW makes books that's called artist edition. This one with this company, Graphitti, they call these gallery edition. So here's one of the images, Kelley Jones. Look how nice and big it is. These are, I think they're great for artists that wants to study some of the other artists' work that they're inspired. Like look at black and white images, you can't really tell what they use. For example, when I'm looking here, I can tell that Kelley used a whiteout pen right here. So I can actually see what's the strokes and then the lines and all the details in there. Okay, let's take a look at the other pages. Here's the table of contents. Look how large that is. I can see every stroke. As a comic book inker, I like looking at all the detail line work. The halos over here, the hatch lines, the line weights, all of that is very nice stuff. And here's the introduction by Kelley Jones. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read more into this. Then here's some of the more information here. Nice stitching. Love after death. Okay, and let's take a look at this. This is going to be a good amount of a pretty long video, which I think is nice. It kind of looks like a real original. Look, oh, look at this. This is like an overlay. This is like a translucent overlay. I don't know if this was originally placed on there. Maybe that's the cover. $2.95. And here's one of the inside pages. Oh, look, this is the cover. This is the the art for that cover. Okay, some of the blue lines, whiteout pen here. Look at the textures. This to an artist that has been working in comics for a long time, this is like looking at like a bucket of gold with all the details. Here, some of this you can see what was originally drawn there. Let me see if I can lift this heavy boy up. You can see some of the art that was originally drawn and erased there. So they scanned this in color. You can see some of the original art, original stuff. Here's some of the whiteouts. Look at the details on that. Okay, and you notice as the outside of this, you have the DC logo, the blue lines. These are pretty much 11 by 17 Bristol boards. So when I was working for Marvel Comics and DC Comics, the publishers, they'll send us the Bristol boards, and when we get to Bristol boards, then we would actually use those boards, and then we would follow some of the guidelines. Now I notice here, reproduction from original art. So this was printed on original art. So they actually got a hold of the original art. That's why you see some of the outside blue lines. But when you get to this page where it says reproduction from production art, reproduced from production art, right over here, that means they didn't get a hold of the original art and they just got the file. But with this one, the reproduction, you can't really see the strokes, like which one was inked first. Like for example, like some of these, I can see the whiteout, I can see some of the blue markups from the editor. With this one, you can't. Okay, but this is what they can do in order to get the whole story out there. With this one, colors, so they added a little page for the colors. Okay, just to keep the story consistent and to keep it interesting. But being an artist, I like how all of this looks. This reminds me of when I was doing original art. This right here is a stat. I can tell there's a little bit of white side. It almost feels like I can lift this up, but it's like nice scan. Okay, right over here. Look at that. Look at all those cross hatching, all those different textures. The line weight for the perspective, that's done very nicely here. The halos, halo is a white outline that separates a black line to another black line. Look at the line weights on these, and look at the details. Kind of reminds me of Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. I'm sure Kelly Jones was also influenced by Bernie Wrightson. Look at the details there. Yeah, Kelly Jones is such an amazing artist. I can look at this book here. I can look at it for a whole year. I can look at it forever. Ooh, look at some of this. So originally, I can tell that on the original art, there was something that was drawn. Actually, I think I know what exactly happened here. So Kelly drew this. Kelly drew this page right over here, and I know this is what happened because it happened to me before when I was doing original art. We inked it, we drew it, it filled the whole image. But with the letter, when they put the word balloons over here, it may cover up some of the art. So what the production in DC Comics did was they'll take this image, they'll stat it, and then they'll cover all that up. That's why you can see that this is kind of disappearing. And then they'll place a stat on top of this to print in order for the publishers to put a word balloon over there. Okay, right over here. Okay, look at all those details. And again, feel free to pause the video if you want to look at it a little bit more. Look at the structures on this. Wow. I don't know if... Yeah, these looks like his stats. I'm getting the feeling that maybe the letterer made these stats. It wasn't Kelly Jones. Some of these brownish stuff, that was with the glue stick. Back then, letters would stat images. Like for example, Kelly drew this again. He drew it very large, and it was covered up. And then the production in DC, they made a stat of this, and then they use a glue stick, and then they'll glue all of this here. The glue, when it dries, it kind of creates this brownish color, and then they will use an X-Acto knife to cut around here. I remember doing some of that work when I was on location doing stuff for Viz Media. Viz Media, they're located in San Francisco, and we also did stat work. So I also did some of this stat production work. It's just using a regular X-Acto knife and cutting around the artwork. But it damages some of the original art. Okay, look at this. This looks like, I don't know if this was a Zipatone or if that's hand inked. I wouldn't be surprised if it was hand inked. This is Zipatone, because Kelly, he's really a detailed artist. Look at these stats. it's interesting to know. If you look at the original comic in color, you won't know what's a stat or what's the what was the original art. But looking here, you can tell that there's a stat page over there. A stat is almost like a plastic sheet of photocopy paper, which reproduces the original art pretty well. Well, you know, I'm just blown away by all the details that Kelley has done. And then we have a color page just so they can break it up. But I'd rather see a gallery edition or an artist edition that was pure 100% from the original art. Okay, look at all of the fade lines over here. Yeah, I can see all the details. Skip the page. Here's another page. Milwaukee. The lettering over here is pretty good too. I can see how they kind of warped the lettering to follow the paper, how it's kind of like going in that direction. I wonder if Kelley inked this himself or if he had another inker. Let's go back and take another look. See if there's credits in the front that tells me who worked on the artwork. Yeah, Kelley's a great inker himself. But a few times he had other artists ink over him. Maybe one of these days I'll get to ink Kelley Jones. But it doesn't really tell me. Oh, right here. Artist, Kelley Jones. Todd Klein also lettered it. Writer is Mike Barron. Okay, so Kelley, he penciled and inked everything here. And the lettering is by Todd Klein. Todd Klein is a pretty good letterer too. I've worked with him quite a few times, the hand lettering. See, right here? I think originally there was, this was the original text, and then they placed another text on top of it. That's why it's kind of brownish. And then that text kind of fell off, and whoever has the original artwork lost that text. So, but all these were glued on. That's why it turned yellow there. Okay, here's some of the editorial markups. Maybe some of the black went overboard, and then editor wanted to remove that, so they have production move that. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at Kelley. It's just so, look at the amount of details. There's not only the foreground, but there's also different textures on the zipper tones. Here, I like how Kelley kind of ran out of space and he got another tone and just pasted on top and then stitch it, because I see that little bit of white space. Look at some of those taper lines here. Kelley's just so good at light and shadows. One of the artists out there that does really good light and shadows. Kelley Jones, Bernie Rysons, Kyle Holtz is also another good artist that does a lot of great textures with light and shadows over here. Okay, almost every page you look at has textures. A lot of different textures. Look at the light source on that and the negative space. That's very nice. Okay. Yeah, I like to see more of these artist editions. And you know, if you guys enjoy this video of me reviewing artist edition and gallery edition, please comment below and let me know. Like this video, so I'll make more of these in the future. I do have quite a few artist editions which I haven't opened up yet. This is actually, I think I have a good amount full of artist edition, but I never actually opened it up. But I would open it up to make this video, and it'll be my first time seeing this as well. This is nice. Yeah, like for example, like a page like this, I can look at it all day, just all day looking at that. Looking at the light source, where it's darker, where it's lighter, how Kelley approached inking those lines, the speed lines, okay, going towards that one-point perspective. Look at those hands. One of the things that's very hard for artists to draw is our hands and faces. Look how nice this hand looks. Okay, all the bumps, all the grooves, all those are very nice. Okay, some of this reminds me of Arthur Adams' bursts. I remember the first time I seen Arthur Adams, when he draw these explosion bursts, he would draw these little lines here. Yeah, and this was done by a letterer, these crash effects. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next page. Look at this. There's a mouth coming out. There's a head coming out of this mouth. A lot of details here. Okay. Yeah. The comic, I prefer looking at a black and white images so much more. A lot of times when I'm looking at comic books and they're colored, some of the line work is gone. You can't really see the details of the line work in there. So looking at the black and white, you see every fine detail. Look at the trees. You can see which one's in the foreground, which one's in the background. All those are done very nicely. You know, look at all this texture. Just this one page probably took Kelley maybe a day and a half, 2 days to do, right over here. Something like this is a little bit faster, but this one takes a little bit longer. Not a lot of readers will know that if you're looking at comic book art, sometimes backgrounds like this will just take so much longer to draw and ink than something like that. And this would be something that a reader would just skim over very quickly. But as an artist myself, I would look at every detail, even the line work over there. The hair, the different tones on the hair, how Kelley inked around it, as well as just went out to ink on top of that. Okay, a halo. Creating halo is a really like very focused task. If you haloed it incorrectly, everything will be off. I can see here that there's a very thin halo and it's consistent, and over here is a little bit thicker. Okay, look at the shoes and the postures. And another thing, Kelley, he does very nice folds. That's like a master craftsman creating the folds in the artwork. Okay, look at that texture. Look at all this. Okay, the mushrooms over there, the roots, these little leaves, the shadow on the leaves. Okay, the top of the leaves, the wolf that's over there, white dots on the zip tones. Yeah, the thought process of an artist is really amazing. By looking at this, sometimes I like going to a museum or looking at someone's art, and I'll try to dissect the process that they went through in order to create their artwork. Which is the first stroke, which is the second stroke, which part they went first, which part they went later. Like here, this is spattering. I know that maybe Kelley used like a toothbrush and spattered black ink on it and let that dry. He masked off this area, like the two characters that he worked on, spatter everything, and then let that dry, and then he would use whiteout to draw these trees in the behind. Okay, look at that. It's a genius the way Kelley works. Okay, inks around and add whites on top of it just to be more complete. Inking around the white spots, and then adding white on top of the black area. Okay, same with over here. Okay, so that's the process where the artist would just draw certain areas and then come back, work on some of the other areas, and then when they're done, they would just go back and kind of feel what areas needs more white and just add to it. Okay, this is very nice. Look at those hands. Look at this. Look at the textures on this, everyone. Look at this. These metal parts looks like metal, wood looks like wood, tree looks like tree, the planks looks like plank, the ground, the texture on the hair, all of that is just right here. Even the shadow, there's that wood texture and it goes into a shadow area and it gets thicker and darker over here. Okay, so right now this is Deadman issue 2, page 3, right over here. Look at this, everyone. Look at the amount of details. This took a lot of work. Look at the elephant. Look at the texture of the elephant. Look at the skin that's kind of folding over here. Very, very nice. Very cool. Okay, we're going to take a look at this page right here. Look at those folds, everybody. Those folds are nicely done. It's just with the use of a brush and the amount of pressure and controlling where that those lines are. Right here, these are smooth lines, nice flicks on the hair. Right over here, all these textures. Look at this. Now, right here, I can tell that Kelley used a brush to ink in some of the lines for the eyebrows, and then when that was dry, he would go back in there and use white ink. I'm thinking maybe that's like a pro white ink, maybe, to ink white inks on top of the black line. Okay, let's take a look at the other pages. I wonder how long it took Kelley to work on each page. Probably maybe a day and a half to work on the page. Here's Deadman. Okay, look at the structure of the anatomy. Okay, that was very nice. Okay, those taper lines are very cool. Okay, here's more. Each panel is a piece of art. You know, look at the spatter. There's black spatter. Now, this is what a good artist does that a lot of artists, especially inkers, they don't do. When there's black spatter here, there should be white spatter. So Kelley followed through with the white spatter. I've seen artists that would do an explosion. They would do black spatter and no white spatter. Or they would do white spatter on top of black areas and no black spatter. So this is very nice. Okay. You guys see some black spatter and white spatter on top of that. Okay. Yeah, look at all these details. White out over here, the lines, the negative space back there. Right here, yeah, I can tell that everything was 18 black, and then with a white pen, just draw those crosshatch lines over here. This is very cool. Okay, a little bit of line. See right there? That is when Zipatone ran out, and then you're cropping two pieces. I don't know if that's done there on purpose, or maybe that was a cut that just didn't fit into place. I like the natural look as opposed to a Zipatone look. Zipatone, back then, artists, they would buy these sheets. These are 8.5 by 11 sheets, and then it comes with different tones that you can buy. And what we do is we would take that piece, cut up, use a pair of scissors and just kind of cut around it, and then place it on top. After we place it on top, we would cut around it. We would, for example, like this moon, we would cut around it and just remove that piece with a piece of a X-Acto knife. Okay, so some of these are extra pieces. So what Kelley's done, I'm sure that he did this because this is something I would do. I would place this Zipatone here. I would cut out certain sections right here, and then take that piece and place it over here. Like this one, I would cut out this piece and I would place it over there. And whatever extra pieces, I'll just place there. Some of these I can see that there's white out, which is okay. Okay, wow, look at the space back there. Each of these lines takes a lot of work. And precise spacing, because if you have a line that's touching too close to another one, those lines will just start to mesh, which you don't want. You want them to work nicely. Okay, look at the spine on that. Look at these little dots. I think George Perez is pretty good at making stars like that. When I make stars in space, I usually use a toothbrush and I make them more randomly, and I also use a whiteout to add on top of it. And here's another page. Very, very detailed pages. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, black spots, and then finishing off with white spots coming out. This creates a much more cleaner blend. Some artists, they would just do the top black part and kind of fade in and then have that all black. But this is a very good thought process. Look at these details. Okay, white circles, textures on the back circles, and then white rings around it to mimic that illusion. Okay, very cool. Well, you know what I like about this is that I don't see Kelley using a Sharpie, because if he used a Sharpie to fill in black areas to do some inking, some of those dark areas would just turn brown. So that's good that he didn't use any Sharpie. So the original art looks better. A lot of times when I'm working with original art and I'm creating like actual pen and ink, I prevent myself from using bad Sharpies or bad microns, just so the artwork, when it's done, it retains its dark look in the future. I remember when I was younger, when I was in high school, I worked on a pen and ink, and I bought this fine liner, and it was not a waterproof fine liner. And because of that, I still have the artwork. That artwork turned brown, so it's starting to disappear after a while. Okay, look at those textures. All of them flows nicely. There's no crisscrossing. All of them flows nicely. It just points the attention towards this train over here. Ink some of the tree texture. Go back in there with a brush and white ink and just add those extra lines. Okay. Yeah, looking at this, Kelley, he really knows how to direct your eye, almost like a cameraman. You're looking here. The eye just focuses here, and then this person, he looks down and he comes this way. His finger just points down this way, and he's just controlling where your eye movements are, the way he's drawing all these. Okay, it's just a lot of master craftsmanship over here. There's a train. The train goes over here. You could look at this panel, and it comes back over here. It flows through, and then after that, you look at these people. It comes right back over here. You see this person looking down, and it comes over here, and then you just go back on that side. Very nice flow on this artwork. This explosion. This is fun. There's something fun to work on. So comment down below and let me know what you think of this video so far, and also what you think of Kelley Jones' Deadman edition. Kelley, he also worked on a lot of other books such as Batman, Red Rain, a lot of Batman. He's known for his Batman look, but not a lot of people know him for his work on Deadman. Deadman is one of the books that's really detailed. Look at those bow structures right here. Look at that. Okay, this is very nice. Okay, I don't know if Kelley actually went one direction with the brush, if he just went like this, or he had to turn his page. When I'm making something, I had to actually turn the Bristol board. Okay. Yeah, when Deadman first came out, they were released as prestige format books, which is like maybe a little bit thicker than a regular 22-page or 20-page comic book. And it was about maybe 30-40 pages. And here's this one, Deadman Exorcism. Look at those little lines. Look at this. Okay, some of this has line weight. Some of these don't have line weight. I think that if there's line weight, it'll be looking better. So for me, sometimes working with deadlines, you just have to get the work done and to get it as nicely as you can. Okay, look at this. Look at that fade. Very nice. Page 4. Again, stippling. Okay. Stippling is another inking technique that artist does. Okay, stippling is basically a lot of little dots that creates a good gray value. Almost like if you have like a cross hatching here, black, and you cross hatch and it goes into a white. That's like another way of doing textures from black ink to a medium value to a light value. This is much faster. This is also done much faster. Stippling, such as this and this, takes a very long time. It takes time to complete that task. Here, Kelley used Zipatone on top of stippling. Okay, some people just put the Zipatone and they'll be done with it. There's Zipatone on top of stippling, so there's a lot of work over here. There's no Zipatone here, so Kelley just kind of mimicked that Zipatone over there. This is so nice, very cool. So some of this Zipatone is kind of turning yellow compared to some of the other Zipatones in the front. You see, there's no zip like this one. This one's clean. Some Zipatones, they're like a plastic clear sheet that after a certain amount of time, they will start to turn yellow after they get old. Like this one didn't turn yellow. It stays black and white. This one kind of turns yellow. This one stays clean. Okay. Look at the amount of work. It just looks more detailed. And I can tell that as Kelley this kind of looks like Jim Carrey. No, who's that other actor? I don't remember what his name is. Okay, so here's more of this. You know, this does look like an actor. If you know who this actor if you know who this face kind of looks like, comment down below so I'll know who it is, because he looks very familiar. Okay, here's more of Deadman. Okay, a lot of background rendering, but Deadman stays white, so it pushes that forward. Okay, a lot of details around here, and it pushes this in the center. Goes over here, comes here. This person looks over there, and it directs your eye over that direction. Very, very nice. And the same thing. Almost every piece of his Kelley's work. You look here. Goes here, you look at this eye looks back this way, this card drives that direction. You look here, this goes back to this face, it comes back in this direction, this card's coming here, and then it has this to finish this off. Same thing, it just directs your eye. Look at this. Very nice. Okay, so the background, building textures, this takes a long time to work on. The perspective here, the person standing here, the textures on the tree, look at the worm's eye view of the face. Okay, the head, this kind of reminds me of P. Craig Russell's work right here. This looks nice. Don't ask me, I'm nuts. Okay, look at some of the hair. Okay. Surprisingly, not a lot of editorial notes besides the few that we see, the markups on the original art. I don't really see a lot of editorial notes. I remember when I first worked for DC, there was a lot of blue markups. Like here, there's a little bit of a editorial note. You see that little blue over here? Now editors, they would take a blue pencil and mark it up, and then even though if the markup is on the original art. When it gets scanned, it doesn't pick any of that original pencil markings up. Okay, yeah, look at some of these tape. Even these tape, regular Scotch tape, this was placed there in order for the printers to know where to place the page onto their machinery or whatever, so everything will be aligned. It's kind of like a little target area. It's measured and placed there. It's not placed randomly. So if you look at this, it's kind of placed in the right area. Okay, here's some markups over here. Deadman, and I'm pretty sure this is either Kelley Jones' handwriting right here or the editor's handwriting. Let's take a look at some of the earlier pages of the handwriting. Deadman, yeah. So sometimes when there's a black line over here, and then there's a blue line underneath, the blue pen was drawn by Kelley Jones, and then the editor took it and just darkened it up. I remember before I would just handwrite some of my titles and page numbers and issue numbers on there with a pen or with a thin reprograph pen, and then when I get the original art back, an editor uses Sharpie to write all of that down. Sometimes artists, they don't even write the name of it, and then the editors will write this down. This is the time when we would send original art to the publishers, and they would get it and they would scan it, mark everything up. See some of these circles, looks like an editor wanted another circle over here. Okay, like that. Or it could be a circle that just fell off, a zipper tone that fell off. And this could be a markup for zipper tones to add on top later. Okay, this looks like kind of looks like Robin Williams over here. Okay, I'm sure the back, Kelley just had so much fun. I'm sure he had more time playing with the background than the figures on some of these pages, like this. The over-exaggeration of the characters. Clean balloon. Okay, you see this blue markup over here. It says clean balloon. There's probably some kind of dirty stuff there, and the editor made a notation for production people to clean the balloon. So, working in comics, the pencil, when there's an art team, for example, like a penciler and an inker and then a letterer, what happens back then, not so much this time. I'll explain how comics are done in today's society, in today's world. But back then, from maybe 20 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, a little before, a pencil would draw the page and send it to, actually the pencil would draw the page and then fax the layouts to, a fax machine. They will fax their layouts to the editor. Once the editor approves it, the pencil would get the fax back, and they would start drawing it. When they're done drawing it, once the original pencils are finished, they would send that to the editor for final approval, for final markups. After he's okay with it, the editor, he or she will send the original art to the letterer, and then the letterer would actually hand write these letters on top of it. Okay, that's why some of these stats, there's no gray areas, unless like earlier we saw that page that had a little bit of yellows to it, which like some of these that but the rest are actually hand lettered onto the original artboard. Okay, so once all that is hand lettered, then it gets sent back to the inker or to Kelley Jones in this case, and then he would continue inking around it. Okay, so that way the artist doesn't really need to draw everything underneath, and then having the letterer have a hard time whiting out all the details, and then kind of try to letter these words on a bumpy surface. So once the letter is done with it, it will get sent to the inker, and the inker will ink around it. Okay, actually, so once it's lettered, that doesn't get sent back to editorial. It gets sent back to the inker, and the inker will complete the task and then send the original art back to the publisher for corrections and adjustments. And then once that's done, all that's scanned again and sent to the colorist for coloring. Okay, and fast forward maybe somewhere in the middle of that and today's world, things are done hand lettering, where actually let's rewind it back a little bit. So before it was computer lettering, everything was hand lettered. Even these word balloons are hand lettered. And later on, some of the letters, they started doing computer lettering, but they weren't actually lettering directly on the original art. They were actually lettering these little word balloons. They would type it up and kind of kern it and put the fonts and space them nicely even. And then they would use, print it out on a regular piece of paper, and they would use a pair of scissors to cut those little word balloons out. After they cut those word balloons out, they would paste it with a glue stick on top of the area that they want before it gets to the inker here. They would paste that and then hand ink those little word balloons. So some of you who collect original art, you'll see that some of the letters is just a paste, like a stat that's placed on top. And then fast forward to today's world, where the original art doesn't have any hand lettering. That is all done by computer. When the penciler is done with art, that art is scanned, gets sent to the inker, and gets sent to the letter at the same time. The letter will start putting all the fonts and all the squares in the right place on a certain layer and have it ready. Once that's ready, the inker will ink the pages, and then when the inker is done, that page gets sent back to the editor, and editor gets production where they get the file of the letter and just merge those two together. Okay, right over here. Okay, some corrections here. I can see that this is a letter, so someone probably spells Caesar wrong, Cesaer, and then does a little blue markup that says change the letter from one letter to whatever that letter was to the letter A. And you can see that there's a little bit of a little paper over there on the letter A, right over here. Someone just took a printer paper and just cut that little A and just paste it on top. I remember doing that when I was doing work in-house for Viz Media. So sometimes the letter will make a mistake and they will have a whole bunch. So instead of production, such as myself, instead of production typing up that whole thing, what I used to do is if there was one letter that was spelled incorrectly, I would make a photocopy of that whole thing and then find that letter and use the X-Acto knife and cut, for example, the letter E here, and then paste that E into the corrected space. Sometimes Editorial will want to make the whole change, and I would just go there and try to find the right fonts on the computer and retype the whole thing. And I remember doing this. I would retype the whole thing. For example, like this one, I'll retype it, I'll place it in Photoshop, and then I'll print different sizes, a small size, a medium size, and a large size, and then I would match it up into the original text balloon here, and whichever matches, I would then paste that, I would paste it and stick it here, and I would cut around it and remove the excess that doesn't belong there. Okay. Yeah, so it's nice working in comics. I've pretty much done almost every part of comic book work before. I did some penciling before, I did some inking, I've done some coloring, I also done some lettering. That's why I know so much about lettering. Okay, yeah, early in my career I did Marvel work, DC work, and lettering for Viz at the same time. I still do some lettering, not so much lettering the whole book, but lettering touch-up work for Viz Media. Okay, we're over here. As of this video, just a couple of days ago, as of me uploading this video, Viz Media just contacted me to ask me to do some art touch-up for My Hero Academia. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, being able to work in American comics as well as Viz Media comics, with comics that were published from Japan. Okay, so here's more of the artwork, very clean. Yeah, I just wish some of these stats that Kelley got were so sometimes these stats you don't really know if they're going to turn yellow in the future or if they're going to stay clean. It really depends. It's almost like buying an action figure toy. Sometimes those action figure clamshell bubbles, they just turn yellow, and then other times it just stays clean and never turns yellow. It depends on the company and whatever plastic film that they're using to make that stat at the same time. Okay, here's like a translucent stat to make this look like it's translucent, like a whiter stat. Here, look at these folds, everyone. This is very nice. All of these folds. And I'm sure the way Kelley did this, he's just using a brush and he just spatter, they just spat, put it on. But these are nicely done. Okay, look at this splash page. This is a basketing technique in the background. Basketing where it's thicker and then it gets thinner as you go further down and it starts to fade away. Whoa, look, what's going on here? This is Deadman. What's he doing? It's on his back. Here's his elbow. Here's his knees. Here's his knee. This is far out. This pose over here. This is pretty awesome. Okay, so right over here. Aye. The special effects. Not bad for inker, for letter to do this special. Like sometimes I remember doing some inking work every so often. Early in my career, during the image boom days, a lot of people were drawing panel borders like that, and I would just use a brush and go whip, and just to create that broken line. Oh, here's a panel. Oh, it seems like it's missing a panel. Maybe that's intentionally left off, where this is all white and it kind of fades in like this. Man, Deadman is so cool. Look at the bone structure on this. It's the skeleton bone structure inside the mouth, the jaw, the cheek over here. And then we have Deadman coming up this way, the spine over here. Look at the way the foot's drawn. It's hitting. Okay, the light and the shadow over here. It's very cool. Okay, as a kid looking at this, it's just very inspirational. It's just very nice. Okay, we're gonna take a look at this. Okay, we're almost coming up towards the end of the book. Wow, same technique as the shadows on the clothes and the folds. This is done nicely. This is like underneath the water. Right here, look at the textures. I think right here, Kelley Jones knows that it's coming towards the end. I'm gonna go in there and start putting more details, make it like finish off the last for the best. Okay, nice pacing. This shows speed and pacing. Okay, right here, just look at this page. Again, feel free to pause the video. You want to take another look, or rewind it and take another look. Yeah, we're almost coming to it. Oh, what's this? This looks like, wow, this is a spread. Let me see if I can open this one up to show you guys. Wow, this is right over here. This is such a heavy book. Look at that. Look at the texture on that. Very cool. Kelley Jones, he signed his name with a white. And then here's some pencil markings to show what's supposed to be there. Okay, look at this. Move it back into camera. Okay, let's look at the next page. And that's the last page. Right over here. What does it say? Let me put this back. Card. This looks like a Kelley Jones trading card. World of Magic. Card number 113. Right over here. Okay. And then looks like it's a couple more pages left. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Okay. This is probably some ads. Posters for the book that was coming out, trade ad prints. Over here, look at this. Yeah, as an artist, you should also enjoy working on backgrounds, not just the main subject, but backgrounds are also important. Okay, what is this? Maybe coffee stains over here. Very nice. 1989. That was a while back. Kelley's such a nice artist. Okay, I wish I spoke to him, introduced myself to him in person at the time. And then some of the other art over here. Now in the future, I'm also going to be making more of these videos. Again, comment down below if you enjoy these, so I know that you guys like to see more, and then I'll make more. I have a few other artist editions and gallery editions that I haven't opened yet. Some I opened, I took a little look, but I haven't looked at it more than that. So I would like to share with the rest of you guys who are interested in seeing this. Because some of these editions, they're quite expensive So not a lot of people get to see it. So it's kind of nice that you can see here. So and if you're interested in buying this, I'm not sure if they're still available for sale, because this one I got, it's not new, it's not brand new. It's been printed a little while back. And then there you have it. That's the Deadman Artist Edition. So here's the front. Here's how thick that book is compared to my hand. Here's the spine. Right here, this is the spine. This is the spine. There's no UPC code. I think the UPC code is on the box. Right here. So that UPC code is right here. So here's the UPC code if you're interested in getting that information. Nothing really happening on the back of the box. And put this book back. It just fits nicely into this. Right over here, it just fits nicely. And then you have like a nice little storage area right over there. So that's Deadman Gallery Edition right here. So there you have it. That is the Deadman Gallery Edition, art by Kelley Jones, right over here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And again, check out my website. Again, my name is Walden Wong. I'm a comic book artist from Marvel, DC, and my website is waldenwongart.com. So check that out. A lot of fun things that you can look at on my website. And if you enjoyed these videos, please subscribe to my Patreon. My Patreon is patreon.com/waldenwongart. Over there, there's a lot of ways that you can show support, as well as mentorship. So if you're interested in penciling, inking, coloring, or lettering, hit me up over there. So until next time, comment down below if you enjoyed these. Take care and have a good day. Bye-bye.